Welcome to our show, Behind the S, Episode 1, Test and Trial.
Brought to you by 4 Productions with your very isolated hosts, Carol and Fabeeha, social distancing from Karachi and Toronto.
And today's show is about how to survive as a travel documentary storyteller.
On lockdown?
Yes, and with the very first guest, Danial Shah.
Hey Danial, it's great to have you on our first episode.
Hi, Carol and Fabeeha. I'm really good. Hope you're doing good as well. It's a pleasure to
Hey,
be here.
Daniel. Yes, it's a pleasure to have you here, and thank you for being our first guest. If guys will not know this, but Daniel is a storyteller who picks words, pictures, and seamlessly weaves them together. All he needs to get through life is a perfectly made cup of chai to accompany his obsession with mirror selfies. So, Daniel, tell us more about yourself. Tell us, what is your story? Like, what makes you unique?
So I was born in Quetta. I grew up in Quetta. I spent most of my life in Quetta, small town.
Yes.
And when I was 13, I got my first digital camera. Back then, we had Flickr.com, which was like a social media for photographers.
Yes.
And I discovered amazing pictures and photographers from all over the world. So which became my inspiration.
Yeah.
And when I moved to Karachi to start my education in advertising, and I kept learning photography, like taking courses or during semester breaks. And I wanted to get my work published. Like, I observed something and I think it's a good story. And my first article that was published was in Express Tribune while I was still studying.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And then when I graduated, I had to make a choice, either to join the corporate world or to pursue working as a photographer. Of course, it was a hard decision because, there's a lot of pressure that you have to take this job or you have to survive, you have to sustain yourself.
So basically, you followed your heart.
I really followed my heart. It was a tough decision, but I think the best decision of my life, not to take a job, but try to work as a photographer.
But that's amazing, the fact that you just went for your passion and you listened to your heart. I think that's the most important. It kind of pays off.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No? So, just like you said that you enjoy traveling and you're a storyteller, you like to capture stories. Given the current situation that we are in with COVID-19, how has it affected you as an artist?
Yeah, so currently I'm based in Budapest, Hungary. And I moved here to do a master's degree in documentary film. So I was studying and filming.
Yes. Yeah.
And
From advertisement to documentary filmmaking. That's so interesting.
Yeah, and then I was in a shock because everything stopped. The film I was about to make, I couldn't make it. I cannot legally film outside. My purpose for being in Budapest is almost gone. I cannot do anything. So I went through a lot of loneliness, isolation. You're away from your family, but then you had a routine. You were meeting with people, interacting.
So it ends up emotionally affecting you?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, and that has kind of taken a bit of a global hit that, everybody is realizing that
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're alone, but you have a routine. You wake up, you go out. You have some works to do, classes to attend, you come back home. But now that routine is messed up, so you have to be at home all the time.
So let's say, even regardless of what has happened and how it has affected you, there must be some silver lining to it.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your silver lining? What is that something that you find positive during this time?
So like I said, I was in a shock, and in the first week was really like I was looking myself going into depression or sadness. And then I realized, okay, I have this time with myself. I cannot go out. I cannot do anything. What should I do? So I thought, okay, I always wanted to cook a lot. I always wanted to read a lot of books. There were films that I always wanted to watch.
Yes.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm reading books that I never read. I kept with myself but never read. I wanted to cook desi food. I'm cooking a lot and keeping myself busy, like watching a lot of films that I would never get time to watch.
So basically, you have found a way to provide yourself with some therapy and self-love and care.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell me something, just something that, because we've been talking about COVID and we've been talking about the global impact. Um, how have you taken to social media? Because, given that social media is full right now and everyone is on
Mhm.
social media because there's also nothing else to do. It's the only way to communicate with the world. How has that been?
Yes.
Tell us something about that.
Yeah, so in the first week, I was on social media a lot and I was checking news and what people are talking about. I mean, social media has given people a lot of freedom to say whatever they can. But the problem is that it could be, sometimes it could be fake, sometimes it could be true, sometimes it could be false. So you have no filters. And then that really affects your mental health, especially when you're really alone in an environment. And what I did was I stopped using social media. Like, I really tried not to go to social media and spend more time with the things that I have, or with books, or I go out for a walk.
No, and that's
I
actually a pretty good decision. That's something that you found was healthier for you.
Yes, that's also something that I was just thinking of, because given the previous answer that Daniel gave us, that during this quarantine, he has a silver lining of reading books and cooking. So, Daniel, have you found something about yourself during this time? Because you're in quarantine and now you're alone and you don't have anything to worry about except just going with each day, right? So, what
Yeah.
is that you have learned in the process?
During this time, I've really started enjoying really small things, like things that makes me happy. I've started looking into very minute details of life. Like, for instance, when I'm cooking, I really take time to enjoy what flavor is it gonna come, or if you fry the onion a bit more or a bit less, what would be the impact of it? Or, I mean, the small things in your life, in your surroundings, that I've started to enjoy. It's,
And given that desi cooking takes a lot of time, like Pakistani khana wara, like 3-4 hours, 2 hours, and like browning the onion changes the entire taste of the entire meal. That's what you say.
yeah. My European colleagues always make fun of the desi food, that it takes a long time. But I think it's really, now in this time, it's really a luxury, because it really takes away. It's like a healing process. Like, you spend a lot of time doing physical activity.
Meditation.
You're creating something, and you're
Again, so
enjoying
it's
it.
like something therapeutic.
It's very therapeutic. Yes.
So coming back to what you do as a visual storyteller and as a documentary filmmaker, give us some real behind the S. Like, what is it that you experience? Tell us some a memory or some instances that when you've been traveling, what have you come across?
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, I've had so many experiences, especially in the past 2 years.
For sure, you did, because your experience is amazing. Like from Quetta to Budapest, who would have thought?
Yeah, and in the past 2 years, I made films in Portugal, in Serbia, in Georgia,
Wow,
in Hungary, Belgium, and every story or a film that I work on, it's like, it amazes me. Like, for example, my last film that I made was in Belgium, and it was about mermaids. I discovered
mermaids.
Whoa!
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there are girls who dress up as mermaids, and they think that when they go in the water, they become mermaids, so they swim with their tails on. And
that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I discovered them while I was diving in an aquarium in Belgium, and I never imagined myself like going in the water with my camera and then filming in an aquarium, a mermaid in front of me.
That sounds so amazing. So
basically, you have a story to tell.
Yes.
Someone actually says that, what's the most interesting thing you've done, and if you say, hey, I just shot with mermaids.
It's even surprising. Belgium is a small country, and when I tell my colleagues who are from Belgium that I made a film about mermaids, they say, "Wow, do they exist?" Yeah, I say, "Yeah, in your own country, like, it's such a small population."
When it comes to population, this reminds me of something. So how every year we have New Year's resolutions, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have goals. So, what is your quarantine goal of this year?
So one of the goal that is on my top priority is, because I worked as a photographer, and I have images of projects or personal projects or commissioned work,
Yes.
10 years of pictures, and I've never organized them because I was always traveling, always moving from one project to another. So I'm really taking this time to organize my work. I'm taking this time to finish all the books that I've had. I'm not going to buy any more books. I have to finish those books. And I'm learning new recipes every day. So I'm trying to make new food every day. So these are my goals.
That is something really interesting. I don't know. I feel like you've taken out the most, positive side out of being in quarantine.
Yeah, I think this is so beautiful, right, Carol? So you'll come out as a chef and you will come out as a person who is mentally very strong.
Exactly. And then I also think that to be positive or to be negative is a choice. And there are lots of things negative around. And you have to really struggle and make a choice. Okay? Positive run, negative run, and it's your choice, and it affects you.
I completely agree.
That's amazing. You see life through a different lens because you have been going to so many communities, so many cultures, and you've been shooting so many stories, and you already have a very strong mindset. You have your own opinions about things. You have managed to take out the positive side to your life.
That's great.
Exactly. Sorry to interrupt. There's one more goal that I forgot to mention, which is so I've never played a music instrument in my life, and I found a Turkish instrument called saz in Budapest. Someone was selling it.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm getting it as soon as possible, and I'm trying to learn it here.
That's amazing. Are you learning it online?
I will learn it online. This guy who's selling it, he also teaches online. And he teaches for free during this quarantine.
Oh, nice.
So I think this is also one of my goals. Yeah.
So you're just growing and you're becoming a better version of yourself.
Yes, that's the only option I have.
That's fantastic. So Danial, one thing I do have to say is that something that both of us was super interested in.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, especially Fabeeha.
The point, Carol?
Yes, we are, especially for Fabeeha.
I really want to know this, Carol. And she's the one who pointed it out. And after she did, I cannot unsee it. And I think even the audience who listen to this, they won't be able to unsee it.
So tell us, why are you so obsessed with mirror selfies?
I mean, it's a selfie, but in a mirror. And I got really inspired by this photographer, Vivian Meyer, from the US. She was a babysitter, but she always had the passion to take pictures. And then she was always documenting herself in different mirrors that she would come across at home, in the streets, in flea markets. And I mean, that gave me an inspiration because I always had my phone with me. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to take my selfies, but I will take my selfies in a mirror, which defines that life of mine in that particular time in this frame. And maybe after 60 years, I can publish a book about myself in different parts of mirrors or different parts of the world in different mirrors.
Okay, so I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a biography of yourself, what would it be called?
Danial Nama.
Danial Nama.
That was a random.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to, as we're ending this podcast, there's something that I would like you to share with us. So for people who aspire to do what you do, to be a traveler, to be a storyteller, give us like a quick 3 points that you can share with them to inspire them.
Okay, so what I can think about is things that have helped me grow. And one of the things is that I always listen to my heart. I always made choices that I was satisfied with. Second thing would be that I got to know that I should learn to know that I don't know enough, so that I'm more curious all the time.
That's such wise words.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yes.
And thirdly?
Thirdly is to respect each other and stay humble. That keeps me grounded.
Yeah, I think that's some amazing words of wisdom that you have imparted to people who need the inspiration. And Yeah,
This is
and I
very
think
interesting, Daniel. It was such a pleasure to have you on our show. I have learned so much.
It was
Given that I
amazing.
have not known you and I have never met you before, and
yeah,
like knowing that
and for
at this
someone who's
age,
known you, yeah, and for someone who's
yeah,
known you, I think I learned a lot of things that I
yes.
didn't know before.
And also, like, given your age, it seems like you have like 70 years of experience.
Yeah, I think that's
I'm
amazing.
trying.
That's amazing. So thank you so much. And
Thank you. It
we
was a pleasure.
we wish you all the best with your cooking and your SARS and your, with everything that you want to do and finishing your quarantine goal
Yeah.
of 2020.
For sure.
Yes.
And I hope you have a happy quarantine.
Thank you. And I wish the same for you both.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye bye.